Hey folks, it's that time of year again. You're getting Robin in his gray hoodie in the morning because it's cold in the house. Seems to be seasonal. What I do with these posts, I guess. But after yesterday, when I did my cabaret and then had some time to let it settle in, kind of catch my breath and reflect on it. You know, I slept well last night, but I also woke up pretty early with thoughts buzzing, and I'm trying to deconstruct this, and because it's got me reflecting on a number of different levels. And the first thing I noticed was that I had a sense of embarrassment about the cabaret, about the ways in which I wish it were better. That was the first thing I noticed. And then, and I thought, okay, we're getting into the pattern territory, right? We're getting into the place where I'm actually experiencing that part of myself that leverages judgment, or that tries to keep a lid on me. I was like, okay, here we are. So I looked at that a little bit, and I didn't really, what came through as far as, what was going on there was just a sense of, well, I felt as though I had focused a lot on myself. Inadvertently, I had written some things about my ego or whatever that obviously were about me, but in the way that I envisioned them, they were pointing to something larger. But in the way they came out, it felt like sort of self-absorption in a way. And this is where I kind of come up against one of my own biggest creative challenges, I think, because on one level, that feels like the cardinal sin of creative work, or of anything, is to be self-absorbed, right? Even this post, I've always, initially and throughout, I've always had a sense of never wanting it to have that icky kind of self-dwelling in your over-revealing feel to it. But at the same time, I've also realized, especially with this post, I've realized I also have to show up and give what I have. If I don't do that, if I start editing because my mind says, oh, that's a self-absorbed thing to say, or that's a privileged thing to say, that's a feeling you shouldn't show, then I'm cut off at the knees when it comes time to saying something true, to creating something true. So that's and I had a feeling this might come up. That's the thing that I think has really been brought online by actually just going live and doing a version of this show, and taking the reflection from that. Even though my reflection I haven't gotten too much feedback from viewers. I've gotten a little bit. It's been overwhelmingly positive, but the reflection that I received from the space, that in the space, as I'm performing, as I'm speaking, as I'm playing, there's always a reflection. The space is always reflecting something, and I feel like I have a sense of like, okay, here's where I'm in the heart of things. Here's what feels really solid. Here's what feels good. Here's what feels less good. And that initial reflection showing me this side of myself and bringing online a sense of, oh God, at all costs, I don't want to be self-absorbed, it's starting me on a path of opening to something new. Because, of course, I don't want to be self-absorbed. Of course, I don't want to make a show that drags the audience through a bunch of, like into a kind of icky, unstructured kind of like, I don't know, like dragging them through the mud of my stuff, my issues, right? That's not theater. And if I'm so afraid of that I can't start, that I can't go fishing for what I'm trying to say with an audience and start playing, then I'll never do it, And like I said yesterday, I was telling a friend afterwards, my friend Ruth, who was so instrumental in supporting me and kind of getting me to a place where I was ready to just dive in and do this. I was telling her, it's been years that I've wanted to launch this idea, and it could have been more years. I could have, I can easily see myself having made some excuse for why I couldn't do October 2nd and just cruising past that date, pinning another date several months down the road and saying that's going to be the date, and the exact same thing would happen. And so, there's part of me that's just really, I'm very grateful, and I'm very, it brings me a great deal of confidence and an affirmation that I took this step. Then there was the reflection and the kind of like reckoning with my own, the side of it that feels like I've presented something icky and I want to undo the ickiness. That's the next step. But then I also started feeling, there was a moment when I was talking about one of the songwriters of the song, Nature Boy, and the story behind that. That felt really beautiful. That was a moment I wasn't talking about myself. I got off myself entirely. It was about the history of the music. It was about the space that the music opens. It was about the fact that a homeless person wrote a timeless, beautiful, poetic song that became world famous because it was sung by world famous artists, and seeing the kind of, but knowing where that song comes from completely changes the way we perceive it. It opens a completely different space. So I also am discovering those little moments of beauty and of real, where I really feel like, oh, well, I really locked into something that felt really good. That doesn't feel icky. I can look at that and say that feels really like it connected. It was a connection between my heart and the music that I was making and the space that called that song into being. So yeah, I'm in a downloading phase of what happened yesterday and where it's going. But I felt like it was important to track on this post the experience, the post-show experience of, that embarrassment, that feeling of, ugh, what have I done? Oh no, I've shown everyone how self-absorbed I am. What am I going to do now? I can't take that back. I guess I could remove the video. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. What? Or receive the lessons, but own myself, own who I am in it. Even if there is a reflection there that causes me to have to become more conscious, still own the part of me that is limited. Own my limitations now. If I can own my limitations now, I can expand my limitations. If I have to hide my limitations and I can't own them now, then how am I going to expand them? No, there's no way to expand something that I'm not allowed to look at, or that I'm not allowed to even, it's not even allowed to be there. I just have to pretend like it's not there and stay away from things that would reveal those limitations. So, I'm tracking this because it's very significant to my creative process right now, and I suspect all of us have some level of this. You know, I'm certainly not the only artist to feel vulnerable about putting themselves out there. I mean, what is the most fundamental fear among creative people? It's judgment, being, that sense that something's going to get seen that we might not want to have seen. I'm convinced that's what stage fright is. It's the feeling that our subconscious, the knowledge that our subconscious is going to reveal things that we're not aware of, and that we would rather hide, and our subconscious would rather hide them. So we're not so much afraid of the thing being revealed itself, because we're not conscious of that. We're afraid of engaging the activity where we know there's a risk that it could come out. And so I do have to say, I feel really proud that I stepped through that ring of fire and dove in, and now I get a reflection. Now I get to take the feedback, take the criticism, and take the next step. But that's where I am today, folks. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. So much love. I will see you again very soon.